Hello everyone, welcome to my online geography class KSK Geography. As you know, in my previous video, we discussed about the Indian agriculture. We have just started the chapters, right? And there we discussed about the Indian agriculture, the features and the problems and solution or reforms. Now, next part of this chapter that you need to know, that is types of farming. Now there are different types of farmings are there in India which to practice the agricultural activity in different methods. That it is started from long back. So at first remember one thing, how the people were surviving on our earth. The people are surviving doing hunting and gathering. But what is the problem with hunting and gathering? There is no surety. So someday they will be able to get the resource and someday they will be not able to get. Now people want stability in their life. So that's why they have started the agricultural activities. So the first type of agricultural activity they have done, that's called shifting farming. So what is the features of shifting farming? That you need to know in detail. But before that, you need to focus on one term. The shifting cultivation is also known as slash and burn methods. Now what is that? Here mainly the farmers, they will select one agricultural land, and as I said, that was the primitive time. So here the agricultural land, there was no such agricultural land at all. The whole area, it was full of natural vegetation. Remember, this is the time when the agricultural activity just started. So what they will do here, they will clear the land. Clear the land from what? They will clear the land from natural vegetation. So they will cut the natural vegetation and then they will burn it. And after that, the ashes that they will get it, that it will be utilized as a fertilizer. So it will enhance the fertility of the soil, and continuous few years they will do the agricultural activity on that land. Now what is the problem? Problem started just now. When they will do the agricultural activity next 3-4 years, after that slowly the agricultural land, it will lose the fertility. Now when it will lose the fertility, what the farmer used to do, the farmer, as they don't use any fertilizers or they don't have any knowledge about the farming techniques to regain the fertility ahead, so what they will do, they will just leave the land and they will go to the another area. So same process they will repeat it there. The same process they will repeat it there also. So, and as a result, again in that new area they will do the agricultural activity for next 3-4 years, and again they will lose the fertility of the soil and then they will go to the another place. So in that whole process, what happened? In the whole process, slowly we are losing the agricultural land. So that's why those methods of agricultural activity, that is called shifting cultivation or slash and burn farming, that is not so good. So we don't encourage that type of agricultural activities. But yeah, these are the one type of agricultural activities. Next, we need to know about the subsistence farming. This is the another methods of farming. So that develop when the people realize that slash and burn farming or shifting cultivation, there's a problem. Like we are losing the fertility and people will be not able to stable in one place for a long time. Now people want stability in life. So that's why they have involved the another type of farming technique, that is called subsistence farming. Here what they will do, they will settle one place, and the small agricultural land they will develop along with their houses. And in the agricultural land, what they will do in the agricultural farm, they will cultivate different type of crops that they require throughout the year for surviving. So as per the season, they will cultivate different type of crops in the same agricultural land. And remember one thing, that whole agricultural activities they will do just to feed themselves. Right? So the main intention it will be there to rear themselves. So that's why this is called the subsistence farming. Now here what is the problem is there? Problem is there, the farmers need to do the agricultural activity throughout the year. The farmers need to do the agricultural activity throughout the year. Although the production quality, it will be in good quality, but problem is there, the farmers need to work throughout the year. So this subsistence farming was also not came very handy. So next type of farming we need to discuss, that is called commercial farming. Here they will not cultivate only to feed themselves, they will cultivate in huge quantity or extra quantity so that they can sell it, and from there they can fulfill the other demands also, right? So those are called the commercial farming. So here the people will focus much more for getting good quantity, so that's why even they will compromise with the quality, but the focus it will be there for quantity. And by the time as the population increase, for feeding the whole population, they have to go for the commercial farming. Here commercial farming, there is a two type, one that is called intensive farming, another one is called the extensive farming. So let's start with intensive farming first. Remember, intensive farming, it will be practiced on such areas where the number of population it will be more. It means where the population density is more. So in the small agriculture land, they will involve many more manpower, and they will try to get more production. That is called intensive farming. Intensive farming is a system farming that involves higher input, labors, increase of use fertilizer, pesticides, high quality seeds. So all those things they will do, right? Those are the intensive farming. Why? Because the focus is there to get more production. Now it is the practice of regions where the density of population is high. So these are the important terms you need to remember. Intensive farming where the population density is high. Even this type of farming is also called labor intensive farming, as the manpower use is more, so that's why it is called labor intensive farming. The rice and wheat is the main crops that are growing in intensive farming, right? So now let's go for the next one, that is called extensive farming. Remember what I said in my last slide, that where the population density is more, there we are using intensive farming. Here where the population density is low, so there we are doing extensive farming. Now what is that? Extensive farming where the population density is less, it means manpower it will be less. On the other hand, agricultural land it will be more. So how to get more production? Here we need to input much more machinery, right? We need to increase the uses of machineries. So extensive farming is unlike intensive farming, required less labor for large areas of land. So it use machineries and the scientific methods, machineries and scientific methods to get more production. Next one, mechanization is effectively used over large and flat areas. Now it is a high capital intensive where the machineries and fertilizer, all those things is required. So it means we need to give more cash input. Next one, crop specialization. This is another important terms. Here you need to focus again. The crop specialization is one of the major characteristics of this type of farming. It means the particular crops it will be cultivate huge area, so they can get more production. Next, the main crops grown in are rice, wheat, sugarcane, etc. Those are the main crops. One of the advantage of extensive farming is that the local environment and the soils are not damaged by overgrowth of chemicals. Why? Because the population density is already less. So those are called extensive farming. Next type of farming we need to discuss, that is called plantation farming. Remember, plantation farming, you can say it will be the upper version of extensive farming. Here the land it will be fixed. The land it will be fixed, and according to the land which type of crops it can cultivate more or which can give her more production, that crops only it will be cultivated in there. So here the few plantation crops are there. What are those plantation crops? Those are the tea, coffee, rubber, those are the plantation crops, even banana. So what it will do, the plantation farming is an extensive system of agriculture in which single cash crops is cultivated on a large scale or in a state, right? This type of farming is practiced in a vast land extending from the few hectares to the thousands of hectares. Next, modern methods, techniques and machinery it will be used. And remember, one of the important features of plantation farming is, like here, we don't need to plant the seeds every year. Once you put the plant, so that it will give the production for next few years. That is the main advantage of plantation farming. Due to the large size of plantation, large number of laborers it will be required, and crops like, as I already mentioned, tea, coffee, rubber, spices. Those are the important crops growing under the plantation farming. Only one type of crop is cultivated, like the rubber, bananas, tea, coffee, cocoa, tobacco. Those are the only single crop it will be cultivated in the same area year after year. So those are called the plantation farming. Next is called the mixed farming. Nowadays the mixed farming is gaining popularity. Now what we are doing here, remember here along with the agricultural activities, it means along with the crop production we are doing the animal rearing also. What are the advantage? Advantage is, like, crops and animals, it will help each other to grow. Like, what are the extract materials we are getting from the agricultural activities, that it can be used as a input materials for the animals, and what are the extract things we are getting from the animals, that can be used as a input materials for the agriculture. So it will be eco-friendly also. And if the farmers will get loss for any reason from the agricultural production, so they can compensate it from the farming activities, so they can recover the loss from the animal rearing. And if the animal rearing it will be affected, so they can recover the money from the agricultural production. So in that way the farmers will never be in loss. So always the farmers will prefer to do this type of agricultural activities, that is called mixed farming, right? The main benefits of this type of farming is that it ensures the steady income for the farmers, and they can become much more economically sufficient. So it maintains the soil fertility, soil biodiversity, and minimize the soil erosion, as well as helps to conserve the water. So that's it about the types of farming. And in next video we'll discuss about the classification of cropping seasons in India. So for that you need to subscribe my channel for getting latest update about the ICSE Geography, as well as don't forget to like and share with your friends. Thank you very much.